Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland P.O.R.T webinar. My name is Yasmin Razak. I'm your host today. I'm the Marketing and Training Coordinator here at the P.O.R.T. Today, we will be talking about opportunities for selling to Anne Arundel County government. And in this order, we'll be going through the agenda. So we will start off with Anne Arundel County Public Schools, and we'll have Mary Jo Childs, who's a Supervisor of Purchasing, Esther Avery, who's from Minority and Small Business Enterprise. Then we will go into Anne Arundel County Purchasing Office, and we have Elisa Brown, who is a Minority Small Business Coordinator. Then the Small Business Development Center, also known as SBDC, and we have Candace Pruett, who's a business consultant. And last but not least, we have Keasha Haythe, who's the Business Development Associate from Anne Arundel Economic Development Corporation. Welcome, everybody. A little bit about the P.O.R.T for those of you who may not be too familiar with us. At the Maryland P.O.R.T, it is our mission to help Maryland businesses fully compete in federal, state, and local government procurement processes. And we do that by offering individualized counseling and group training. Our services are free and confidential. And if you would like to speak with a counselor, please go to our website, mdptac.org, to register. And if you've been counseled before and need further help, we encourage you to email your counselor to request another meeting. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to get started very shortly. There will be opportunities to ask the presenters questions, and you do that by typing in the chat box on your screen. And we'll try to get through as many questions as possible by the end of the webinar. So we do encourage you to stay tuned to the end. A copy of all the presentations will be emailed to you immediately after the webinar. That's probably the most common question I always get on webinars, so don't worry about that. And just a disclaimer, this webinar is being recorded and will be broadcast on the P.O.R.T website and YouTube channel. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get started with Mary Jo. So Mary Jo Childs, if you could share your screen for us, please.
Thank you, Yasmin. It is an honor and a privilege to be invited back again for this wonderful business outreach. As Yasmin said, I am the Supervisor of Purchasing at Anne Arundel County Public Schools. We have a $1.2 billion annual budget, about $350 million in annual contract spend. Most of that spend, of course, is in public school construction, student transportation, and materials of instruction, but we also have a wide variety of contracts expanding from commodities to technology to services. Before I start my presentation, I wanted to give the advice I give to so many of our contractors that contact me with asking for guidance on how to get a foothold into government contracting. Making yourself as visible and available to the very busy procurement officers, I think, is a very, very good first step. Participate in some of the master contracts that are available here in Maryland. The MEEC, the Maryland Education Enterprise Consortium contract. University of Maryland is the lead sponsor. We place so many of our orders off of the MEEC contract, and it has a lot of the smaller vendors, so keep an eye on the MEEC bidding cycle to see when the next time they open it up for public bidding. Of course, the GSA schedules 70 and 84, state, local, and school systems are permitted to order off those two GSA schedules. The CATS contract that is issued by the state of Maryland. Register for as many socioeconomic programs as you qualify for. The state not only has the MBE program, they also have the Small Business Reserve program, and they have the veteran-owned small business program. Both of them have been expanded in recent years. The legislature has expanded those programs, so those present additional opportunities for you. The easier it is for us to find you, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to get a government contract. With that said, I'll start with my slides. I'm sure you've heard this advice before. Register on eMaryland Marketplace Advantage if you have not already done so. This one bid portal actually reaches all school systems in Maryland, the municipalities, counties, and state agencies. So that one task that you do can reach all of us. In addition, we recommend that you register on the Anne Arundel County Public Schools website. What this does is it enables you to receive email notification automatically every time we issue a solicitation that may cover your area of expertise. We ask you to provide a checkbox indicating which areas of expertise, whether you're technology, whether you're construction, whether you're consulting, and that way you'll get instant notification of when we have bidding opportunities. So register in both places. This is just a screenshot of what our purchasing page looks like. So when you get there, it'll look familiar to you. Again, the vendor registration to the right side is the different choices. You can register generally as a vendor, which is I recommend you do. That way you get ongoing bid opportunities. You can also register for individual solicitations. That way you make sure you get a copy of the solicitation, the request for bid, the request for proposal, and any amendments. That checkbox list I was indicating before, this is a sample of the kinds of things we're asking you about, what your business does. That way we can tailor our emails to only go out to the vendors where it's relevant to them. And the final step, which we sometimes our vendors omit, is we require a copy of your W-9, your IRS form, in order to complete the registration. And most importantly, registering enables us to pay you. If we can't get you registered, we can't pay you through our financial system. These are just some tips. In my 32-year career in both public and private sector contracting, some of the tips I've gleaned along the way. This is particular to the state of Maryland. Again, register as a bidder, register on eMaryland Marketplace. If the project has a minority business enterprise goal, I can't stress this enough, the forms that are provided through the state, which we use and I think most county and localities use as well, they're not easy forms if you're not familiar with them. So I encourage you to take an opportunity to review those forms before you actually have to prepare your bid. And in our office, we have the amazing and wonderful Miss Esther Avery, who will be presenting after me, and she'll be available to answer any questions. For our school system, there are a couple no kidding requirements that we have for most of our procurements. Your business has to be in good standing with the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. Now, if you're an out-of-state company, that doesn't mean you can't bid. There are different requirements for out-of-state companies. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. For out-of-state companies want to do business in Maryland, it's a fairly simple process for those companies. We cannot do business with any companies that have been debarred by the state of Maryland or by the federal government. The debarment list for the state of Maryland is found on the Board of Public Works website. And typically for our larger projects, we require at least 5 years experience in projects of similar size and scope. This is just an example of what some of our outstanding bids would look like. As I said, we do a whole lot of construction and maintenance, but we do have some services and commodities purchases as well. One thing I highly recommend, if you're bidding on a government project, especially if you're new to the world of government contracting, request a copy of the past bid, the past RFP and the past bid, to see what the winning bidder did and did not do to make their bid successful. Go over every page of the solicitation, and I know they're tedious because I have to do it myself. Go over every page of the solicitation and ask questions before the bid due date. Don't ask them the same day bids are due, because chances are we're not going to have time to answer them thoroughly. For us, at least, if you're submitting bids by the Postal Service especially, give yourself extra days, because our deliveries don't come directly to our office. They actually go to the post office and we have to go pick them up. Don't leave blanks on the bid form unless the solicitation says you can. Blanks may get your bids thrown out. If you have a question, ask the procurement officer. That's what they're there for. We want you to ask questions. And check your math, check your math, check your math. Again, mathematical errors can also result in getting your bid rejected, and then all that work is down the drain. And we in the government lose our low bidder and have to pay more money for that second bid. So it's a lose-lose when we have to reject a bid. In those in the construction field, don't bid alternates unless the solicitation allows you to bid alternates. If your bid does get rejected, ask why. We're happy to walk you through your bid and see where the mistakes were made and make recommendations on how to do better in the future. If you're bidding on a project with MBE goals, again, as I said, take care in preparing the forms and ask our MBE office for guidance. Mrs. Avery and Jen McCoy, who works in her office, they're amazing, and they're always happy to guide bidders through the process. For those of you who are interested in subcontracting opportunities, make sure you register for the solicitation, the request for bids, the RFP. In our system, and I think probably with many systems, you can actually see who is registered for that same solicitation as a prime. So you can start your networking early. Always make sure you attend the pre-bid meeting too, and have your kind of elevator pitch ready at those meetings. So you can give that 5-minute spiel, maybe a handout to those prime contractors to make yourself ready and available for them. This is primarily in construction. If you're considering partnering with a new prime contractor, do your due diligence on whether they have a history of late payments to subcontractors. It's important that you make sure that whomever you're partnering with is someone you can trust and someone who's going to be paying you on time. Again, before you prepare a bid, request copies of past bids. Make sure you are MBE certified for the work that you are proposing. If you are not, we cannot account you towards the participation goal. That is actually state law. Go over every page of the solicitation again and ask questions and check your math. Same as the primes. This is when I indicated our procurement site actually shows who was registered for a particular solicitation and their status, either as a subcontractor or a prime contractor. It's a great tool to use if you're trying to network with some potential prime contractor partners. Finally, questions. Again, I'm the supervisor of purchasing. Our buyer of technology is Ms. Lindsay Unitas, and Loretta Hamilton is our very capable senior buyer for services. And with that, Yasmin, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Mary Jo. That's great. We have a question. What form do you need to complete to get copies of the previous company's bids, and what is the process?
Okay, I'm just closing out my the process for getting the prior bid is there will be the contact information for the buyer on your solicitation that you're interested in. So whomever is on that contact list, contact them. They'll have a copy of the prior bid, and we'd be happy to provide it to you. You don't need to do, in our organization, you don't have to do a Public Information Act request. We routinely send them out. It's very informal, and we're happy to do it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. That was very informative. And you can still continue to type out your questions in the chat box for Mary Jo, and we can ask them throughout the webinar. Okay, now we're going to go over to Esther Avery, who's from Minority and Small Business Enterprise. So Esther, if you could share your screen with us, please. Great, thank you.
Good morning. And I'd like to thank Yasmin for the invitation to be part of this session once again. I am, again, Esther Avery. I work in the Minority and Small Business Enterprise office and am fortunate to work with our amazing purchasing supervisor, Ms. Childs. And I will tell you a little bit about our Minority and Small Business Enterprise Program. Some of the information I'm going to be sharing has already been presented by Ms. Childs, and it's also in mine. We're just emphasizing the importance of this information. The purpose of our office is to conduct a Minority and Small Business Enterprise Program for the delivery of services and products needed by Anne Arundel County Public Schools. We provide outreach to small and minority businesses. We oversee the MBE goal and also monitor the achievement. So that is just saying that we look at every project that is being sent out to bid by our office and by our school system to see if there are any opportunities for minority and small businesses. And we set the goal according to the availability of minority businesses. And once that information is received, we follow the project through the life of the project to ensure that this goal is being met. So it's not only reported in the documents, but we ensure that it is being met. We educate and support our staff, our vendors, and our community. As mentioned earlier by Ms. Childs, when a solicitation is sent out with a MBE goal to be recorded or reported on the MBE forms, you must be MDOT certified. That's not to say that you cannot work with us if you are not certified, but what it's saying is that for you to be recorded or reported on these forms, you must be MDOT certified. And for more information in regards to that certification process, if you are not privy to this requirement, you can go to the MDOT site, and it's Maryland Department of Transportation Office of Minority Business Enterprise to get some additional information. Our board at Anne Arundel County is very committed to working with minority and small businesses, and therefore have set a 15% minimum goal for subcontracting and consulting for all non-construction contracts for materials, supplies, equipment, and services. And of course, we look at the availability of minority businesses as we are setting the goal. We see most and a large percentage of our MBE achievement through construction and systemic projects. The overall MBE goal for construction project is 29%, but this goal can vary all according to the type of project. So an example of that in our large construction or in our construction projects, we break them out by divisions. An example would be for site work. We see that in site work, we can set a goal of 30 to 35% because we see there are quite a bit of opportunities for MBEs to participate. And not only that, there are quite a few MBEs that are certified MDOT. An MBE prime contractor may also count themselves 50% towards the established goal and 100% of any one contract sub-goal. A lot of our goals would have, maybe if it's 30%, there would be a subcontracting goal at this point for 8% African American and 11% women. If you should have any questions about that, please let us know. We would be happy to walk you through it. Sometimes these forms can be a little bit complicated in regards to just understanding what it's requesting from you. That's why we emphasize at our pre-bid that if contractors or subcontractors are they may be a little confused or need some guidance in regards to completing these forms, we emphasize that, we really encourage them to give us a call or send us an email, and we would be happy to walk them through the process. Doing business with AACPS. All invitations for bid are advertised on the AACPS website and also eMaryland Marketplace exclusively. Pre-bid meeting schedules and specifications are noted in the advertisement, are also on the AACPS website. Most of our pre-bid meetings are held virtually at this point, or at the project site or bid room. Bidding tips. Visit the AACPS site regularly, just to ensure that you want to look and see if there's anything that may be of interest to you. As Ms. Childs mentioned earlier, it's important for you to register with us so that we know if and select whatever your area of expertise is. And so if there are any bids that we're sending out that your area of qualification does address, then you will receive an email from us, or some kind of correspondence from us of this upcoming bids. But we just also suggest just continue to monitor our website. We emphasize to develop partnerships with prime contractors. I always emphasize to our subs the need to develop relationship with our prime contractors who are planning to bid on the project. If you're interested in subcontracting opportunities, so you can go to the plan holders list, and most of the time the prime contractors who are interested in bidding on projects will be noted on the plan holders list, and we suggest reaching out to them and developing those relationships. Subcontractors can also view the specifications and plans for their bid package online. And please attend pre-bid meetings, because a lot of times at pre-bid meetings, I will ask, or if you're interested in subcontracting, to please address the meeting. And so that's one way of promoting your business and also networking with the prime contractors. Prepare and practice a 1-minute elevator speech. And that's also helpful if you attend pre-bid meetings. Just a quick about your company and just what it is that your expertise are. Please review project specifications carefully, because as we emphasize on our MBE forms, once the prime contractor lists an MBE on the one of those attachment, which is known as attachment B, we expect them to use the MBE through the life of the project. So if you're a subcontractor, please make sure that when you are submitting a bid, make sure it's competitive, and also it's specific as to what it is that you're bidding on. And make sure that the information is accurate. So review, make sure that your information you're providing to the prime contractor is accurate. Please follow through in a timely manner. Because of course, as you know, most of these bids, they have a deadline. So when the prime contractors are reaching out to you, make sure you submit your bids timely so that you can be, if it's accurate, complete, and it is competitive, you are listed on the attachment B. If you do not get the work, ask why. Always ask why, because that just shows the prime that you were really interested in. So hopefully in the future, if they should bid, that they would include you in their bid. And if you get the work, please make sure you understand and agree with the terms of your contract. The payment process, what it is that you'll be required to do, and the timing. Most of especially our construction projects, systemic projects, there's a timeline, a beginning of the project and a substantial completion of the project. So ensure that you are aware of the timing of when you're supposed to be providing your service. Please make sure you shine when given the opportunity. For additional information, as mentioned earlier, my name is Esther Leslie Avery. I'm the Financial Compliance Specialist. My contact information is located on this sheet. And Jennifer McCoy, who I work with, she is the support specialist for the Minority and Small Business Enterprise Office. Please, if you have any questions, you can reach us by email or phone. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. That was great. I have a couple of questions. First one is, I know you covered some of the outreach that you do. Is there an email list that people can join to get information on opportunities?
Absolutely. They can, well, as mentioned in regards to opportunities, you can make sure you're registered on our web, or our as a bidder or a vendor. I'm sorry, and you will be alerted of when there's an opportunity that's available in your expertise. They can also reach out to us. We have our own website, and on our website we have a vendors list. And this vendors list comprises of MBEs who have either worked with us in the past or have voiced an interest in working with us. So they can send us an email and let us know what their expertise, and we will add them to this list. This list is also, we also promote this list when we attend pre-bids, letting the contractors know that, this list is out there. It's not as voluminous as MDOT, but it's also, they must be MDOT certified. And so we also share that with them.
Okay, thanks. And the other question is, do you have any insights into upcoming opportunities, especially in IT for 2021?
In regards to IT, because we have a large technology department, there may be opportunities. I don't have an inside in regards to inside information on what opportunities. Ms. Charles mentioned that the buyer for technology is Lindsay. Gosh, I can't think of her last name for the life of me, but that she is the buyer, and she would be the person that you would reach out to in regards to technology opportunities. But as I said,
if I may, I'm sorry, Esther, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's Lindsay Unitas. He is our technology buyer, and we actually buy almost exclusively off the MEEK contract for technology buys. So if you can get yourself on that MEEK contract, that's probably the best avenue.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, both of you, for that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now we're going to move on to the next speaker, and it is Elisa Brown, who is a Minority Small Business Coordinator at Anne Arundel County Purchasing Office. So Elisa, if you would like to share your screen with us, please. And while Elisa is setting up, I'd just like to remind everybody who's joined us in the last couple of minutes that this webinar is being recorded, and we will be sharing the slides after the webinar. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Yasmin, for allowing me to present in your platform. I am the Minority Small Business Coordinator for Anne Arundel County, and some of the things that were discussed by the Anne Arundel County Public School is similar to our procurement process, so there may be some duplication in the presentation. Also, the key across the board is register. Whatever systems that are available, just take the moment to register, whether it's in the eMaryland Marketplace, Emma, whether it's in the MEEK, whether it's in our P.O.R.T system, whether it's Anne Arundel County Schools. Registering in the database will give you the greatest opportunity for upcoming solicitations. Okay, so today's presentation. Okay, where is it? Okay, sorry. Okay, our program was created to foster an equitable participation of minority and women-owned businesses in the county procurement and contracting process through outreach with staff, diversity organizations, and private sector businesses. We are continuing to grow our minority outreach. Unlike the Anne Arundel County Public Schools, we don't have set percentage goals for certified businesses. You can do work with us and not have to be a certified business. Those are upcoming avenues that we're reaching out to do a disparity study and to set into place goals for each of our agencies. It's the policy of Anne Arundel County to ensure that minority and women-owned business have the maximum opportunity to participate in performance of all county contracts and supplies and services. The MBE program serves as an advocate for equal business opportunity in procurement and function to provide technical assistance in a minority and women-owned business. We have had bilingual training presentations recently to help people in our region on how to submit a quote to Anne Arundel County, how to register in our database. So there will be upcoming outreaches and upcoming presentations that will give technical assistance to minority and women-owned businesses. We monitor and report an effective county procurement efforts with the annual report of purchasing agent. And as noted, we don't have specific goals, but on average, we have done at least 10 to 13% of our county budget in procurement with minority small business. Even though we don't have written goals, we have reached some milestones in that area. We update and maintain our directory, so please, again, register. We develop public and private partnerships by creating network opportunities for local businesses, county staff, and private sector companies. We team up with different other agencies like PTAC to communicate and share with the minority community what's going on with the county. We promote the growth and development of Anne Arundel County minority and women-owned businesses. Be patient with me. My system is doing some crazy stuff. Okay, our purchasing division. We have a centralized purchasing division, which is part of central services. The purchasing division is responsible for working in partnership with county agencies to procure the goods and services they require. And as indicated, annually, we are typically responsible for $400 to $500 million in county expenditures. So our purchasing department purchased from a paper clip to a fire truck. So there's a vast array of dollar amounts that are available for purchasing. We don't purchase for Anne Arundel County Public Schools. They're a separate entity. We don't purchase for Annapolis, the city of Annapolis, nor the Naval Academy. Those are separate entities. But anything else regarding roads, infrastructure, to copy paper for all the agencies, from the fire department to Department of Public Works to Capital Construction, we purchase for. Okay, our procurement process. We have two main types of procurements: invitation for bid and request for proposal. Those are a little bit more convoluted than quick quotes. Okay, our invitation for bid is simple and well-defined. It's a formal invitation for bid package used with specific terms and conditions that apply to this procurement. The bids are open publicly and bid responses are evaluated to determine responsiveness. The award is made to the lowest responsible bidder. The IFP and the RFPs are available on our P.O.R.T site, which I will give you the link to later. It's available on our P.O.R.T site, which allows you to go in to see the solicitations, the invitation for bids, the RFPs that are available for the county. And those vary depending on the needs of the various agencies. Okay, RFP is more complex procurement where the county must evaluate the technical aspects of your proposal before evaluating prices. Those are usually, if it's capital construction, may require a bid on your proposal, may require a bid. They are not open publicly. The proposals are not open publicly. The evaluation committee is formed to review and score the technical and price portion of the proposal. The award is made to the offerer who has the proposal that is the best value to the county. As they had indicated at the Anne Arundel Public Schools, where 5-year, on the more complex project, 5-year experience, that's what they do for RFPs. They look to see what your experience ratio is in comparing to the project that is up for solicitation. And I just lost my screen. Okay, and it indicated how to prepare RFP. Let's see. Our RFP package should be downloaded from our new e-procurement system. With the COVID virus going on and we're working from home, a lot of the RFPs they're not doing any physical hand. Before, we could allow you to drop off or pick up a copy at our Heritage Complex. They are not allowing that, primarily because of the COVID, and the buildings are shut down to the public. But you know the county's terms and conditions. If anybody need a copy, I can gladly send it to them. You can visit our purchasing website frequently for addendas. So if there's any changes or questions to the RFPs, that will be updated on our website so that you can see if there's any changes to that proposal. And we highly recommend that you attend the pre-proposal conference, follow instructions such as applicable signatures and forms, submit questions by deadlines. Some proposals may require deposit, which is the bond that I was referring to. Make sure it's included and submit by deadline. If we have a deadline at 3 o'clock and you submit it by 3:01, we cannot take that into account. No, the proposals received after the deadline will be rejected and returned unopened. We also have small procurement threshold, which is requires 3 quotes, and it's from 25 to now to 50,000. But I have an asterisk there because in my morning management meeting, I was just advised that the legislation, the city council has passed the legislation to increase that threshold for small procurement up to 100,000. But it's going to take about 45 days before it becomes into play. But that's a good opportunity for small businesses to get into that threshold of small procurement. And these procurements can be made with 3 quotes and can be quick payment with the P.O.R.T. What does the small threshold with the Anne Arundel County means? The new threshold means now we can obtain 3 quotes. This makes the process less formal, no bid bonds, but I have an asterisk because if it requires like capital construction, a bid bond would be required. It's quicker, it's easier, more opportunities for small businesses. We procure goods and services using a competitive solicitation to the greatest extent possible. We post open solicitations in 3 locations. Our website, which is www.annearundelcounty.org, Department of Central Services. Our P.O.R.T system. The P.O.R.T system is, I recommend you register, because when you register in our P.O.R.T system, you can put your designation, the type of business you are, whether you're a minority woman, whether you're a small business, service disabled. That will give us an opportunity. Also, our agencies, when they do those 3 quick quotes, they will go into our P.O.R.T database and see which firms are registered in there. And that's easy for them to send out a request for you to get a quick quote if you're registered in our database. On occasion, they will come to me and ask for small businesses to be included into that 3 quote solicitation, because it's an opportunity, because it is a quick quote for them to have an opportunity. And then you have the Emma site as well. Things you should do: research, as they had alluded to at Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Read some of the existing solicitations, even if you don't intend to respond. Look at some of the other solicitations that were awarded to see what the competitive bid was. Ask questions. Submit questions, emails to the buyer. Don't make assumptions. Be organized. Pay attention to due dates. Read and understand all the documents you will be required to fill out. Exceptions and substitutes. Check to see if they are allowed in the solicitation. Don't try to change the pricing template. Forms. Make sure all the forms are filled out completely. Confirm the person signing the proper authority. You don't want the secretary to sign the contract when it should have been the owner, type of thing. State Department of Tax Assessment and Taxation. You must be in good standing to do business with the county. Our P.O.R.T was launched just 3 years ago in July, and so that has been a up and coming system that has worked for our easy solicitation, where you can be email contracts. You can email contracts back to us. We have quick signature, electronic signature. So P.O.R.T has been a great tool for us. The primary function of P.O.R.T is digital management of the procurement process, electronic bid portal, vendor portal, contract routing and digital signatures, contract management and tracking system. In P.O.R.T, you can see when your check was sent out. It gives the vendor a lot more tools that will help them navigate our system. Register with the system in order to submit and maintain basic organization information, identify applicable MBE designations, licensing, and certifications. And some of our capital construction, they do require certification for their project, especially if it's federal and state funding. They do require you to have your minority certification. You can upload the required documents, submit bid proposal questions online and digitally. We use the NIGP codes. You can classify what your codes are, view a list of solicitations applied for, contracts awarded. It includes more visibility and transparency and accountability for us. You get automatic notification for release solicitation based on your NGIP codes. So sometimes you don't have to go in there. You'll get an automatic email if you completed the registration completely. Registering as a vendor, in order to receive an award, you will need to be registered as a vendor in our system. You have to be registered as a vendor to receive register in our system to receive an award. You can submit something, but in order to get, you can look at our solicitations, you don't have to be registered, and you can submit a proposal. However, in order to be awarded that project or services, you have to be a vendor in our system. P.O.R.T information, basic things that they require. They require your legal name, your business type, your county affidavit, your commodity codes. Optional, it would be nice, like for snow removal, your insurance certificate. That's prime for snow removal at this time. Additional points of contact for notice for solicitation and your company website link. It would be good for us if we don't have on site a capability statement. We can review your company website to see what your history is. Please note, we will continue to accept paper bids and proposals. That is an outdated, and I apologize. We cannot get paper bids and proposals. They have to be electronic now. Training is available. An online help session will be available to guide you in registering and navigating our vendor system. We have a help desk toll-free number that if you have problems registering or questions about registering, how to register, that will assist you. That is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elisa. We do have a question. Robert asks, is there a need for maintenance and repair of the county automobile fleet?
Yes, there is a need. There is a need. Whether there's a solicitation open right now, I'm unsure. But if they go in to look at P.O.R.T, or if they send me their capability statement, my email is on the bottom of the presentation, and I will send that over to transportation.
Okay, thank you. We have another question now. Let's see. Can we get the P.O.R.T help desk number again? Is that in your presentation?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'll be sending that out so you can get it from there. Do companies located in Anne Arundel County receive any preference versus other businesses outside of the county?
I'm working on that. Right now, everybody is, we're equal opportunity company, and we're putting things in place behind the scenes that will modify our MBE program. We're working on some things now. We cannot differentiate from someone from the region versus someone locally, but we are putting things in place, I think, that will benefit county businesses.
Okay, thank you so much, Elisa. We're now going to move on to the next speaker, who is Candace Pruett, business consultant at Small Business Development Center. So could you share your screen with us, please, Candace?
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Yasmin, for inviting the SBDC to present today. Everyone can see the screen?
Yes, looks good, thank you.
Perfect. So just a little bit about the Maryland Small Business Development Center. We are a nonprofit that's funded primarily through the SBA, the state of Maryland, and local economic development partners. We provide, again, no cost, confidential business consulting services to entrepreneurs and small business owners who are looking to start, grow their business, or even navigate through COVID-19 resources. We also provide training with core topics, specialty topics, and right now, currently, all of our trainings are virtual, and right now they're also being offered at no cost. We also provide technical assistance that includes loan packaging, certification processes, government procurement, market research, and reviewing of your business plan. And today I'm specifically going to be talking about some tips for government contracting and doing business in the county. So do please feel free to reach out, regardless if you're in Anne Arundel County or another part of the state, or even if you move to another state, there is an SBDC in every state, and we have SBDC consultants throughout the state of Maryland. And the best way to learn more is to visit our website at marylandsbdc.org. And I am one of the SBDC business consultants in Anne Arundel County. I've been here since 2015. And we also have two other SBDC consultants in Anne Arundel County. We have Lindsay Ashu, who is our COVID-19 recovery specialist. And we have Louise Diaz Colorado, who is our SBDC bilingual business consultant. And again, please do visit our website for more information on how to sign up for SBDC consulting services, to check out our training calendar, see our success stories, and our other special programs that we offer. So just kind of walking you through preparing for government contracting. So a lot of the times we work with businesses as they're starting and as they're preparing to look at potential government contracting opportunities. So we say, look at starting at identifying your NAICS codes, obtaining a DUNS number, and registering on SAM. And all of these resources are free. I often warn clients of once you register, your company does become more public. So just be aware of any scam emails once you register as well. So some of the certifications that we walk businesses through and seeing if they're eligible for. So these are federal certifications. So these are going to help you with federal contracting. Whereas we'll talk about in a moment about certifications that will help you at the state and the local level. But some of these federal certifications include the Women-Owned Small Business and Economically Disadvantaged Women-Owned Small Business certifications, the Veteran-Owned and Service-Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business certifications, the 8A program for economically and socially disadvantaged small businesses, and the HubZone certification. There are different requirements for each, but SBDC can help you walk through what those requirements are and if your business is eligible and how to apply for each of those certification programs. And we heard a lot today about the MDOT, the MDE certifications, and so what are those? So the Maryland Department of Transportation, they are the ones who administer these certifications, and MBE is the Minority Business Enterprise Certification, DBE is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Certification, and the SBE is the Small Business Enterprise Certification. Many companies can be eligible for all three, and there is a simplified application process for all three of these certifications, or you can apply for just one or the other. MDOT does have a virtual online seminar on how to apply for free every month. They have a morning and an evening class. In SBDC, we can help in reviewing your application before you submit and walk you through that application process. Also, veteran business owners are invited to participate in Maryland's Veteran-Owned Small Business Enterprise Program, and that is going to be through the Governor's Office of Small Business, and the link is there, and we can also assist you in walking through that application process. We also assist clients in developing their capability statement. I often say this is the resume for the business. This is discussing the business's capabilities, your past performance. It includes your NAICS code, your DUNS code, your cage number, how payment and certifications, and your contact information. This should be no longer than one page. You can do one page front and back if you need to. But we have a template here that's really great for developing that content. But in regards to, you also want to make it visually appealing. You want to make sure it's very clear and easy for someone to understand. So we help clients in developing the content and reviewing it and making sure that it has all of the information. So that way, when you're going to these networking events, these pre-bid conferences, that you have your capability statement for your company to share. Also, we help to connect you with other resources. So we also have, these are very similar links that were previously shared. So Maryland Business Resources for Government Contracting, Maryland's Guide for Doing Government Contracting, and this is through Maryland Department of Commerce, and some do's and don'ts with contracting in the government. And as mentioned, our P.TAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center, this is one of our sister programs and we work very closely with them. Yes, thank you, Yasmin. So once you have your certifications and your capability statement and you are now ready to bid on contracts, we refer you to work with our P.TAC consultant, and they can assist you with the steps for writing a bid, bid matching services, and can guide you on that process for submitting a proposal. We also work very closely with Anne Arundel Economic Development Corporation and Anne Arundel County Workforce Development Corporation, and you will be hearing more from Keasha Haythe soon about those programs, and we work very closely with them to make sure that you're connected as well. And just a couple other resources, you've heard eMaryland Marketplace today, Emma, and Anne Arundel County P.O.R.T, and we also share networking opportunities with our businesses we work with. And thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Candace. That was great. So now's your time to ask Candace your questions. The SBDC is kind of the sister organization to the P.TAC, so we do work together a lot. And as Candace explained, they do general business advice, and then when you're ready for procurement help, they refer you over to us rather. So there are no questions for you so far. So what I'm going to do is go on to the next speaker. So this is Keasha Haythe, who's the Business Development Associate at Anne Arundel Economic Development Corporation. So Keasha, if you would like to share your screen with us. Hi, you need to unmute yourself, Keasha. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
There you go.
Perfect.
We can hear you. Thank you.
You can hear me. Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. Everybody can see the screen so far? Hope so. All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Yasmin. All right, great. Thank you, Yasmin, for the opportunity to present again this year. I think last year or the year before when we did this, we were in the middle of like a snowstorm or something like that. It was very cold. So thank you for this opportunity. As Yasmin and Candace mentioned, I am part of the business development team with Anne Arundel Economic Development Corporation. And just a little bit of background on AAEDC. We are a 501c3 economic development organization, and we were actually spun out of government in 1993. We currently have 18 employees, and we have 5 different departments, which include administration, finance, business development, agriculture, and marketing and research. So there are 3 other business development team members other than myself as part of the business development team. And the industry sectors that I cover is small minority business, maritime. I serve as the liaison to the city of Annapolis, as well as covering the Glen Burnie Town Center area and Odenton Town Center area. So I know there were quite a few businesses signed up that are from that area. So feel free to reach out after with any questions. So the first program that I'm going to talk about today is the VOLT Fund. So this is one of the financing funds that any business basically in the state of Maryland can apply to AAEDC for. We are one of the funding managers for this fund. And this fund is available to small minority, veteran, and women-owned businesses. So the requirements for this program is 50% of the funds go to small business located in a 10-mile radius of the Maryland 6 casinos. So that's why we're able, to lend outside of Anne Arundel County. So we make loans to small businesses in the amount of $25,000 to $500,000. These funds can be used for building improvements, your startup costs, working capital, business or commercial real estate acquisition. So any of those things this fund can be used for. So the application process is typically 45 to 90 days. We require 3 years of financial statements, tax returns on the company and the guarantors, and a personal financial statement. And we help you from beginning to end of this process. The one great thing about this process for this application is that everything is done in-house within our organization. So the underwriting, anything from the initial application to underwriting to billing is done within our office under our finance department. So the loan requirements currently, you must have a personal credit score of 640 or above. I will say that if your credit is not at that threshold, we will work with businesses to help you get to that 640 credit score. So we have worked with businesses in the past, really from 12 to 18 months to ensure that they can get their credit wherever it is below that number up to 640 or above. So we're happy to do that. Owners must, all owners over 20% must personally guarantee the loan, and life insurance on the owner and guarantor is required as well. And we do require a minimum injection of 10%. Startup business, a business plan, which you can use our partner at SBDC to help you work on your business plan. And then we look for management and industry experience. So our next stage fund is another program. The program manager of this fund is Sarah Horta. She is our tech guru in our office, part of the business development team as well. So this is for technology companies that support cyber and national defense. And these loans are between $50,000 and $250,000. And the jobs created must be in Anne Arundel County for this particular program. Our community investment program, we also call this our ACR loan program, is one of the programs that I work closely with. This is for businesses that are located in one of our community reinvestment areas. And those areas can be found on our website at AAEDC.org. But the loan size is up to $100,000 for exterior and facade improvements of your property. And so we also offer $1,500 or 15 hours of free architectural services with this program as well. And with this, there is a 0% interest rate with this loan program. Small Business Development Center, of course, one of our great partners. Candace covered the topics there, but here you can see the services outlined that they provide. And they are certainly a great partner with us. And prior to COVID, they had an office in our building, but now we're all working from home. So lastly, this is a program that was launched last Friday, actually, and we have gotten an overwhelming response to this program. So it's called the Inclusive Ventures Program, IVP for short. I will be managing this program. And it provides education, mentorship, and access to capital to minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses located in Anne Arundel County. So this program was created based on past experience of working with minority and women and veteran-owned businesses that may have the skill but lacking business acumen. So what we've done, we've made this into a program where we are accepting applications to be approved and accepted into the virtual entrepreneurship cohort, which will start on March the 10th. So we are accepting the applications. We will go through an application review, and then 10 businesses will be accepted to this program. Once they go through this program and finish the course, along with some other consultations with experts in the area of human resources, accounting, and law, and business as well. At the end, if they have satisfied all the requirements and completed all the coursework, homework, and classes, they will receive a $5,000 seed grant for their business. So again, we just launched this program on Friday, the 29th, and we have received more than 80 applications to date. So this will more than likely take us through, a lot of cohorts. And now we are just looking to see how we can expand the program with additional funding so that the qualified businesses that have already applied can receive this service. So we believe that this program will help the businesses by providing that education and that mentorship even after they complete the program. We've certainly seen that a lot of businesses may not have been able to take advantage of PPP loans, for various different reasons. But one of the reasons we've seen is because of the lack of accounting documents. And so we know that that is a big part of sustaining and running a business. So site selection is another area that we offer if a business is looking to expand or relocate to Anne Arundel County. We provide site selection services and look for a specific site or property as it relates to the business needs, and also connect that business with real estate professionals that can help them as well. Permitting and development assistance. We have a business development person, Wes McQuillan, that helps businesses the permitting process. He works closely with the Office of Planning and Zoning and helps to facilitate the site development plan process for new construction projects as well. AAEDC Workforce Training Grant. This is a matching grant program, so we will reimburse a business that is in Anne Arundel County for 50% of their training, where they're sending employees to upskill their skill set within that particular company. And that reimbursement is up to $1,000 per employee. It does require an application approval prior to the training starting. And then Runway to Success program. This program is something that we've always had in the past. Due to COVID, this program has been stalled a little bit, but when we get out of COVID, hopefully we'll start this program up again. But this is a program that could be coupled with our workforce training program. If you're traveling out of state for a conference or a sales trip, we were awarding tickets via Southwest for that travel. So we were doing a round trip airline ticket for your conference or sales trip. And that was an online application process as well. And then lastly, market research. We put out our economic indicators quarterly. Our Anne Arundel County at a Glance is a monthly informational newsletter that we put out. And then we also put out a list of new and expanding businesses bi-monthly. You can receive this information by signing up at AAEDC.org. And then we also produce customized reports for businesses that may be looking for demographic data or market comparison data, and then customized business lists as well. And then that is it. I thank you for participating on today. And if you have any questions after this seminar, please feel free to reach out. My phone number is here on the screen, as well as my direct email. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Keasha. That was great. AAEDC, another wonderful organization to help local businesses. So please do take advantage of their services. We do have one question. This one is from Kristen, and she asks, is the Vault Fund loan-based, or are there any grant opportunities?
All of our programs are loan-based. The Vault Fund is a loan. The only grant program that we have currently is tied to the IVP program. And that IVP, that IVP program includes the mentorship and the training. And then after completing what's required of that program, there's a $5,000 grant seed to businesses that may qualify.
Okay, that's great. Well, that seems to be all the questions we have today. So I'd like to thank all our panelists for their wonderful expertise and sharing their knowledge with you today. As I said, this webinar has been recorded, so I will be sending out the link to that later today to everybody who registered. And I will also send out all the slides as well. So if you have further questions or you just want to reread the PowerPoints again, then you can do that in your own time. Thank you everybody for participating, and we would love to see you again on a future PTAC webinar. We have lots of them on our website. I've just put the link in the chat box. They're all free. You might as well take advantage of it. Nobody's going anywhere anyway. You might as well learn something while you're stuck at home or wherever. So thank you again to all the panelists, and thank you everybody, and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.